episode, we actually have a really special episode. We have an interview with the music group JingerKroa. So I told you guys I'd introduce you guys with that music because I'm actually going to be their new singer in their group. So with me I have Tony, Mike, Jim, and Chelsea. So I was gonna say, like I said, I know that, like I said, you guys are a music group, and you guys do kind of, like I said, like with like you're like kind of like metal, but kind of heavy metal, kind of like dark heavy mixed metal. Like I thought like some of the songs were kind of like heavy metaler, but some was kind of like middle. Like yeah, like it wasn't as like when I think of like hard metal, like it was kind of like a hybrid type of. So you can actually just then detail a little bit more about your group.
Oh yeah, look at you for it. Good. Actually, a lot of what we do is we have a very eclectic mix of our styles and stuff like that. Mike actually came from a much heavier kind of background. He was a drummer. I'm sure all your influences, definitely some heavy metal
I
kind
was
of guys.
saying, actually, not to cut you off, I apologize, but let's start there. What actually then you can, since you to the
Yeah,
detail
and
what
then-
actually you guys actually do in the group, your part.
Right. So in my part in the group, myself actually is I'm a guitarist. Mike's our drummer. Tony's our bass player. So actually I'll let Mike speak about your influences if you want to start off with those. Some of those.
A lot of it was hardcore metal back in the day.
Like,
Yeah,
it's like learn the actual thing, and then you can kind of
kind of grow from there. Some of the first things I learned actually were like kind of classical based. My favorite song of all time is Beethoven's Fee Release. That's just
so you have
a beautiful song. And I learned how to play that on guitar, not from a tab from like they normally do, but I actually read it from the score and actually just figured it out myself. And then after that, then I went to some bands that, not the heavier rock stuff, it was actually the lighter. I learned how to, Stairway to Heaven was the first song I ever learned how to play. And I love that song. It was just because it's so beautiful right in the beginning, everything just kind of coming together. It was just very unique. And especially for the time actually, which was in the 70s, I guess we were talking about earlier. But yeah, I mean, that was just, it's really kind of ahead of its time with the way it was in the style. I love Led Zeppelin from back then, so.
Now you do have a lead singer, but he's unfortunately can't be.
Correct.
So do you know what some of his influences might be, or it's kind of in the same thing, rock and.
Oh yeah, like 9 points stuff.
Well, say, how long have you guys been together, and what actually?
JingerKroa has actually been together for just over a year.
Just over a year.
Just over a
I love
year.
how you think about that. Like you're like, it's been.
Well, actually, because Jim and I have been in bands together for quite a few years.
Oh, but then you guys then
And,
branched
yeah.
off and then started your. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so Mike and I have been together for like, we've been, 6 years?
6, 7 years.
Just over 6 years. And so we work really well together, and we kind of stay with each other. We understand each other's styles pretty well, so it works out.
Yes.
Um,
And it was amazing how we actually found a singer. It was
I want to say it. Tell us about it.
Quite amazing. Well, actually, he was a sponsor of ours to begin with, and then sitting around the shop one day and discussing about looking for a singer, this, that, and everything else. So we had a couple tryouts, and it's kind of funny because every time a person would come in, Jeremy would be sitting there, and so we'd leave him go or whatnot. Next thing you know, it's recorded on a phone, and the phone's brought to my house with somebody singing Tool Sober. Spot on. It was like, who is that? Wait a minute, that's Jeremy. So we went back up there and we're like, that's you, isn't it? He was like, hi guys. So we're kind of like, yes, let's do
So he
this.
kinda just looked
Let's
to you,
do
didn't even
this.
tell you?
Yes. It was wild. It was just like, wow. Never expected it at all. You would not.
But you just immediately knew that it worked.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's
Yeah.
like
It
maybe
was
not
one of
even
those
conscious
aha
decisions.
moments where it's
Yeah.
like,
It's like
it
it
works.
works.
Like music
Yeah.
starts playing, and then you're just like, we just found like our missing
If it-
puzzle piece.
Well,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is if you actually listen to his voice, it's very unique. Can you name somebody else that's out there like that? I don't
That's
think
such
we
an
can.
important part of it.
Yes. Especially with music today. What are people looking for? Something that's different. I've already heard that already. Can there be something different? Well, here it is. Everything combined in what we do, his style, my style, Tony's style, and with Jeremy's uniqueness of the voice, I think it came together very nice.
So when you guys actually have ideas for like songs, like how does that then usually work? Is it like one person will come up and they'll be like, oh, I was thinking about doing this, or is it usually always like a collaborative type of?
It's a good question actually. It really is actually. The way we write is if I have a bunch of ideas floating around my head, I'll actually sit at home and I can throw them all together myself, and I don't need any help with it. But sometimes, you know, I have some ideas and I don't really know where to go with it, and I'll bring them to Mike or something like that. And we work on things, and he throws ideas my way, and the same thing with Tony. You know, if he has ideas, it's just kind of sometimes you do them all by yourself, sometimes together. But even after you do them all by yourself, you still bring it to the band and present it to these guys. Now I got to play it for them, and then they throw their 2 cents in. You know, when Jeremy's here, Jeremy also throws his 2 cents in. And that's pretty much it. It stays kind of equal that way. We don't have any pride in everything we write right away, you know, kind of thing. So when we'll criticize each other. And
Oh, we
it's
will tell each
complete-
other.
Yeah,
I know guys are pretty rough, so they're.
so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Does that ever happen? You bring something, you're like, "This is great," and they're like, "No, it's terrible. I hate it."
Oh yes.
That's
Oh yes.
why you
Oh
have to
yes.
be friends and have
Yeah.
a real
Oh, yes.
relationship.
You're like, "That was quick," and no one even thought about that. Like, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, you
That-
have to. Yeah,
How
it's-
that's it. Kind of what you were talking about. The question kind of goes into the next. It's a good segue into the next question. When you go or you write a song, how tightly woven are the compositions? Do you get together and just kind of jam and whatever works good, it ends up being a song, or do you just how
Like,
how
what's
does
your
the
method?
song
Mhm.
like
Okay.
evolve?
You know what? That's a good question. Sometimes we actually just mess around with it. A lot of the times when it comes down to writing, I guess there's two schools of thought when it comes down to writing music. You can either be really educated in music theory and kind of utilize that as a base, or you can utilize what you really need to use as feeling. And the best way that we do it is using feeling. Even though I can sit here and I can name all these chords and how all the chord structures go together, it makes no difference on how sound is. You know, it's all about feeling, what feels with the music, and what really makes it flow on the, to your ear. So I guess the best part for us is actually kind of sitting down and just jamming through things and just kind of playing around for a while and really letting ourselves go. You know, no thoughts and just kind of going with that. You know, I know Jeremy a lot of times too the same thing. Does the same thing.
Okay.
Also, you know what? I have a question that it absolutely has nothing to do with anything. If you were not doing music, you were not performing, what would you do? We're gonna start right here. What profession would you be in? Like any profession. I mean, if you want to be an underwater basket weaver, that's fine. Like there are no limits here.
Honestly, I probably would have went to school for auto mechanics.
Oh, okay.
Something I'm interested in since I'm a little
Like
kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, it's cool working on stuff. That was okay. You had everything in it. Okay.
Like cars?
mhm.
How you
does.
say-
I was
yeah,
asking-
yeah, of course. No, I hate them. I hate them. That's why I'm interested. Yeah.
My father actually has a body shop. We build hot rods,
Mhm.
stuff like that on spare time.
Is that what
So,
you?
NHRA drag racing,
Mhm.
yeah, like probably a number one choice.
So
if I
you
wasn't
do-
in music.
You'd be a drag racer. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. And then you could work on the car and make it like a cool. Wow. So you guys are still going to, in another life, still end up working together.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
No, not me though.
I'm about to get to Jim's turn.
So yeah, I actually did go to school for drafting and engineering and stuff like that. So yeah, no, these guys though. But hey, it's okay though. I still like hot cars. I actually did see some of the cars they made. I mean, now it's really off the subject here, but it was a '68 fastback, was it? That you,
Mustang.
That is a 68 Barracuda. It's really cool. Big one, big loud. Cars.
Well,
They don't have
but you
cars.
can't get away from what your dream job would be, since it wouldn't be anything that has to do with cars or racing.
What's that? The
You-
dream job?
I was like, yeah, your ultimate, what you would do if you were not in music.
Well, you know, ultimately, if my dream job would be retirement.
No, that's not. You know what? Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
So are you guys hoping that
So-
you're playing clubs and like doing different gigs and stuff around? You guys are from
We had
Yeah.
right just north of Allentown. Yes.
okay. So you ever go into the city and do any gigs in Philadelphia or up in New York?
Yes,
Mhm.
we have to go. Yes.
What's the craziest? Do you have any crazy stories from?
Lots.
I was like, I just heard laughing from other areas.
PG.
I was like, that, can we even ask that?
Sure.
Do you have
Ask
any
me what.
interesting PG
You're
stories? Apparently not. Okay.
okay. No.
I try to behave.
We try.
And that's all that you can do. All you can do is try, you know, and that matters, trying, you know.
And it's always good to have a designated driver. wherever you go.
That is really
That
important
is
to have a
very
designated
true.
driver. And also make sure there's no cameras around, because that's evidence.
Yeah.
So,
Dang, all those new phones with the cameras.
all those camera phones, their
So what
FaceTime.
would you guys like to do? Like if you could have anything happen within the next 5 years, where would you like to be?
As
Regarding
far
the
as
band.
the band?
Yeah.
Touring the world.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want to get to the point where like you could turn on the radio and hear your song on the radio?
Indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, that but there's more to it. than
There's
just
a lot
that.
more to
a
it,
lot
yes.
of a lot of what we've done, like the last couple of shows that we did, what we really enjoy about it is actually the fan feedback, and we love just kind of performing for our fans. That's the most fun part of it. We have some great fans, some of the best I've ever got to play in front of. If you ever get to see them and you ask them about the Purple Bunny, they'll be able to tell you about
So
it.
you're
Yes.
very like you have a good relationship. You guys maintain like good relationships, close relationships with your fans, like a fan
Yes,
base.
we
is very
definitely try
important
to
to
do
you.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Do you ever do
Yes.
any like cameos where you guys are like performing and you're singing to like a special fan, like, oh Johnny, you're
Johnny.
You know what?
maybe not Johnny, oh Sarah. Wait, no, I don't know any more
Do you have
names.
any specific fans that like follow you guys around in different?
There is a few that actually been to every single show that we've done so far.
Wow,
yes.
Oh,
that is.
cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You do have a good relationship.
So yeah, and we always try to respect our fans as much as possible. I
Yes.
mean, we love them; they're awesome people. So
To kind of piggyback off of your question with radio play, would you guys ever think about, since like I said, I know you guys are heavier metal, would you ever, let's say if you guys got approached and it was actually someone who's like, okay, you can still have that, but kind of like a metal pop. But I don't know how to put that together. But what if they wanted to try to change it a little bit, but make it kind of
What's more important to you?
like
art-
mainstream?
yeah,
would you
artistic,
think about
character?
doing that? Like you could still be artistic and creative, but what if they just said, okay, well we want to put this spin on it so that we could put you on Q102?
Like pop.
yeah, no, that's a good question. I think I don't know if I'm speaking for you guys. I know I'm speaking for myself though. The way I write music is the way I feel it. For me to try and change it up or anything like that I'm not gonna enjoy it. I'm not gonna love it as much. So I know myself. I wouldn't be happy with it. And the other thing too is kind of like with the whole mainstream thing. We don't do music for ourselves really as much as we actually do it for the fans. And we get our fans' feedback on it and how they like it, and so we kind of respond more to them than we would anything else. So yeah, if anybody else from the outside came and just said, yeah, should you lighten it up? Should you try to make it more poppy? The answer is gonna be no. For me anyway. I'm sure you guys
No, it is.
probably
I mean, you have
feel that.
to enjoy what you play to begin with. If you didn't personally enjoy what you weren't playing, how are you supposed to, make sure everybody else would feedback to that?
Because I know a lot of artists that do that will actually, so that they can get their foot in the door,
So
will
the
do something
thing will
that is
say,
not
yeah.
what they do, and then later on, then they will then
Somehow.
transition into doing it. Because Pink did that. Pink came in and she was like an R&B type of artist, and that's
She
not.
knows a song about it. She was like, yeah, they said
And
to her like, you
even
have to
even
use
with
it.
Rihanna, like she kind of came in like kind of doing like they tried
Kid
to
Rock.
put her and like
Oh,
and put her
yeah.
like in a reggae type of like genre, and that's not what
She's
type
not
of
she
music at
yeah.
all. So I think that's hard because I remember I was thinking that with like films, and I'm like, no,
It
I
is
wanna
so
do
hard,
this. This is
especially
what I
when
want
you're-
to do, and I don't want
No,
to
but
change
you're right.
it.
Artists, it's like, I don't even know. I've never been in a band. I've never been,
We can make
acting
our
is
own
different
band.
because you're playing
She's in the
different.
band now.
See, I am.
Oh, yeah?
I'm the backup guitarist since there's already I'm the one like twinkle, twinkle. But I can
Heavy
only
breaths.
play from looking at actual like music. Like I can't just play. I'd have to like read it, and I'd be like twinkle. I mean, I'll go faster than that. So I'm like twinkle,
that's
twinkle. But I actually have to look at the music. I can't just play. And it's ridiculous because I've probably been on and off playing the guitar for like 7 years, and since I didn't stick with it, I'm not great. So that's why I'm like, I'm mediocre. So if one day you're like tired or you're sick, and
We'll give you a call, man.
and then you call me and I can come up there, and like I said, once we're doing, because the one song, what was the one song that you guys did that I really, really liked? What's it called? Something Pain. Was it Pain?
All the
All
Pain.
pain.
Yes! I will play the guitar to that song.
Yeah, it's a little difficult, but yeah, I got try and teach you. So nice.
So, and then if I'm doing something wrong, then you can just kind of help me out, let me know what I should be doing, and then.
So you're the backup
You
guitarist.
I am the best. Speaking
she's
of
the
guitar,
backup
I'm
guitarist.
so glad
I'll be the
because my
cymbals.
guitar needs to be tuned so
Is it
terribly. No, it's not here. It's not here, and I wish it was. It's terrible. My niece tried to tune it when I wasn't home. I don't know why my mom wasn't watching them, but my 13-year-old niece was in my room, and I came home from work, and she's like, "Oh, your guitar needed to be tuned."
Oh,
so
my
I tried
goodness.
to tune it for you. Didn't pay any mind. I was like, "Okay, that's fine." A few weeks later, I tried to play it, and I was like, "Did I forget how to play the guitar?" I was like, "This sounds terrible." So I'm like trying to play it, and I'm like. I was like, this is terrible. Like, I was like, is that an 8? No, what?
I'd be good at like the triangle.
It was bad. Like, I didn't even try
The
to do
cowbell.
anything with it. Oh, I thought
Needs more cowbell.
Needs more cowbell.
It was bad. If I would have remembered, I would have brought it. It's horrible.
I just
Like,
said I do
it
not
doesn't
play
even
the
sound the
cowbell
same.
because of that.
I don't even know if it sounds like a guitar anymore.
You
Like,
guys
it might sound like a
took it
piano
on
now.
top.
It's pretty bad.
Far out.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So.
So you haven't answered it. Who's your favorite bassist?
Oh.
It's hard to say, but Cliff Burton is definitely
I'm
From
gonna pretend I
Metallica.
know who that is. Metallica?
former bassist from Metallica.
Okay.
The original.
Yeah, he's definitely a great influence.
All I remember is Enter Sandman was like, that video is just, it's like, dun, 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 and like, it's like, there's like a different flashing, and it, like, you know, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
such a, like,
How did that go?
you know, like,
You get a
oh my god, you know.
Chelsea could be in it too, but she could be like the performative, like interpretive.
That's
Yeah. So you're like in the back, and when they're like da da, and then they'd be like, they're like Daphne.
What was that?
And then you
What was
can
that lead singer of Metallica?
Nice.
St. James,
Hetfield.
Hetfield. With his,
Yep.
remember, it's like long 80s hair, and
Yeah.
he's like headbanging to the thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
definitely.
The, what is that? The lights that, that
Strobe lights.
the strobe lights.
Exactly.
That's all I
Yes,
remember
yes,
from that.
yes.
Like, Enter Sandman, the video from the
We're good,
80s,
please.
extremely.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Scary.
I was trying to look like it too. I was
It's
like,
fun.
what? I was gonna try to ask you without them seeing us, but then they all looked over and they called me.
Well, it's one of the videos from the 80s that Metallica did.
I was
They were
around
really
then.
big, and they were,
It was actually one of the most played videos from it.
right.
From Enter Sandman?
Enter
Is that 80s or 90s?
That was
It's just a-
Or 90s, sorry.
Yeah,
Or was it even like if it's late kind of transitioning? I feel like 90s like produced, like I don't care what genre, I feel like 90s produced like the best music.
We've always
Like,
talked about this.
yes, me
before.
too. Seriously, I feel like the 90s, like it's something like so nostalgic.
I
about, like, the
remember
90s.
certain
It was
videos.
real.
Some of it.
Yeah, like
It
now.
was real.
Like Blind Melon, I remember Shannon Hoon like in that field of flowers to no rain and
With flashing lights.
no, that one did not have that. That's like the little bumblebee girl. She's like, I don't know. I just remember certain videos. I
Mhm.
think maybe it's because I've gotten. I don't know if I watch it as much, but there are iconic videos like Kurt Cobain's striped shirt when he
Mhm.
did.
Mm.
You know,
Grunge movement.
yeah. Buddy Holly's a great video.
Buddy.
Oh my goodness, I actually went to see that. Actually went to see the musical. Does that count?
Sure.
Does that count? It was a good musical.
It'll count.
They break out into song.
I wanted to be a part of the team too, so I'm like, I get points for that. Thank you. So I will say, I know that you guys are. I will say, I know you guys are now actually entering in a contest right now. Can you tell us actually a little bit more about that?
Entered, yeah. The contest itself is starting off. It's called Hard Rock Cafe Rising 2013. What they do is they get a bunch of bands globally in the same contest. Locally, I do believe it's 30 bands that they actually contacted to be into the contest. It's a voting process in the beginning of the first one, and what it is actually fans get to go on
That's a reward. I will say that.
and download the song, one of your songs that you have on there, and the song is actually your vote. Once they downloaded the song, that's your vote. So they get a free song out of it. Just a little vote for us.
Oh, okay.
Running pretty tight in the competition right now. Monday at 4 p.m. is the last time that you can vote. But you have to go on their Hard Rock Rising page, like their page, and then download our song, and it's said and done. After the voting process is done, you get to play at Hard Rock Cafe at their local cafes, whichever band it is. Ours would be Philly, so we're gonna be we could have the chance to play at the Philly stage. Once we play there, you get judged. You know, by I do believe it's going to be some producers and labels that are there actually judging you. Their percentages on performance, songwriting, as how you get the fans to react to you, stuff like that. If you win that stage, then you go on to the next round, which I do believe that round is the global tour. Starts in London.
Wow. I will say, all right. I will say, thank you so much for actually coming out and interviewing with us. Can you actually tell then other people where they can? We know where we can see and hear your music at, but where so that other people can actually go and.
The way you pronounce it is JingerKroa. You can go on Facebook.
Here we go.
Facebook.com, ReverbNation.com, and let's see, what else do we have out there? Twitter, we do have the Twitter account. We are working on our own website right now. It's just in the beginning stages of the works. Other than that, just go on like our pages, hit our Reverb Nation page, become a fan, and we love you.
Okay, I will say thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll say, And that was our episode. So thank you so much. We'll see you next week.